안녕하세요 여러분, 조지아 부동산 전문가 김수영입니다. 오늘은 여러분 정말 스페셜한 영상을 준비했습니다. 제가 지금 있는 곳은 귀넷카운티 커미셔너 오피스 미스터 클클랜 카든 오피스에 와 있습니다. 이 영상을 만든 이유는요, 여러분들 최근에 그런 얘기 들으셨을 거예요. 귀넷카운티에서 귀넷몰의 땅을 다 샀다, 재개발을 하려고 다 샀다라는 뉴스를 들으셨을 거예요. 작년 4월에 귀넷카운티에서 그 부지를 매입을 하고 이제 재개발에 들어갈 건데 굉장히 궁금하실 것들이 많을 것 같아서 제가 우리 미스터 클클랜 카든 오피스에 만나서 단독 인터뷰를 하는 영광을 가지고 진행을 하겠습니다, 여러분. Mr. Kirkland, nice to meet you.
Same here.
Yeah.
Thanks for seeing me.
Of course. I'm very excited to introduce this kind of great project as a one of Gwinnett County resident and also as a realtor. And then many of Korean people also very, very excited hearing that this great project because we know that some of private sector like Simon Groups, I heard that Simon Group was trying to redevelop around this area before.
So years ago, Simon owned this mall. This was a Simon property. I think it was 2013, maybe 2012. They sold the mall property to a group called Moonbeam. Moonbeam is a property management company that has acquired, I know, property across the southeast. They owned the property up until last year, spring of last year, until the purchase of the mall went through, and the county owned the 37 acres that we have today. So this is an opportunity for Gwinnett County to really go in there and really take charge of our own destiny and redevelop this area as the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just recalling that the Gwinnett County back in 1998 when I came here in Georgia, the Gwinnett County Mall was most, busiest and finest mall in the metro Atlanta. And then thousands of people were meeting people around there and then getting the job there, earning the money working in this Gwinnett Mall. Yeah. And then the people had a hard time to find a parking space like a Costco these days, right?
Yeah.
And then, people cannot avoid the fact because of the e-commerce. I mean, many of shopping mall is already dead. Are already dead and are dying, and there's still another over 1,000 shopping mall in the U.S. will close down in the next 5 years. That I heard. It is kind of sad, but it's not inevitable, I think. And then there is no kind of easy solution for this.
Right.
So I'm very excited, and I think like it's a really great fact that Gwinnett County took the initiative, purchasing this lot out of, you said the 93 acres, out of total 93 acres, and then Gwinnett County purchased 36 acres?
Correct. So if you look at the whole area, just outside the mall property as well, it's roughly 92 acres. So that's bigger than Avalon, just to give people context. So if you look at the mall property that's inside the ring road, the road that circles around it, Gwinnett County owns 37 acres.
I see.
So there are some anchor properties we don't own, like Macy's. We don't own Beauty Master.
Megamart.
We don't own Megamart. And we don't own Sears, but we have a good partner in the owner of the Sears. Northwood Raven owns that company. They do multifamily development, $1 billion worth of work across the world. So
I see.
We own a lot, but there's still some pieces we don't own, and that makes this project a little tricky.
여러분들 많은 그 귀넷몰에 지금 현재 비즈니스를 하고 계시는 코리안 바베큐 레스토랑이라든지 자파니스 레스토랑 하시는 그 현재 식당들 많이 거기들 하고 계신 분들 굉장히 궁금하실 거예요. 이거 만약에 귀넷몰 개발을 하게 되면 우리는 어떻게 되는 건가? 그에 대해서 궁금하실 것 같아서 제가 미리 질문을 준비를 해와서 여쭤보려고요. So I'm telling my people who own the business around there and then running their business very successful, and they might be kind of concerning, or they might be excited if maybe county buy their land and buy their building. Maybe they can think like they can get some kind of monetary compensation, but maybe otherwise maybe they concern about their business if county take away their business, giving some kind of compensation if they don't want it. It's going to be kind of their concern. So what are you going to say about this?
I'll say this. Gwinnett County owns just 37 acres inside the ring road. So it's my belief that if you have a business outside of that ring road, if you're doing well, great. Now imagine how good your business would do if we brought apartments, green space, office space, entertainment, structured parking in that area. The problem with that area is it's not activated. No one goes there unless you have a real purpose, or maybe you're going to go to Macy's. No one has a real need to go there. We do shoot some movies there while we're still using the mall, while the mall shell is still there. But just imagine how successful, how good those local businesses would do if Gwinnett invested in that mall area. It brings more people, it brings more activity, good press, good media. I think, though the county has no plans to acquire those properties at this time, I think a rising tide raises all boats. And I will add this too for anybody that fears that, you know, local government would come in and purchase a building or property. You know, by state law, we are required to offer people fair market value if we do some kind of eminent domain, any kind of right-of-way acquisition for economic development or for government needs.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah, of
And
course.
seeing how the tax assessments have gone up now, it may not be a bad time if that
Right.
were to happen. So.
Yeah, then it could be kind of much better news instead of be fearful.
Correct.
Yes.
I think there's a lot more to be excited about than be fearful about. The truth of the matter is, yes, this is a tricky project, but if you look across the country and different metropolitan areas where they've redeveloped mall properties, it has been done before.
I see.
So I think we got some good folks to help guide us through this process.
Another question is, there are some private sector and public sector involved together.
Correct.
And they're gonna, I personally, I feel like, unless it is really kind of a big company with the deep pocket, cannot take the initiative like this kind of big project.
Right.
And I think it's a really, really good idea that Gwinnett County taking this initiative, I mean, leading this project, backing these private sectors, whoever in the future who want to invest and then take a part together. It will be very good opportunity for those investors, maybe from Korea or from other country. It could be very good opportunity to take a part in this great project. So I want to ask, what is going to be official process to take a part in this project?
Well, I definitely think there's a fine line between the private sector and the public sector. I think things we do very well in the public sector is acquire property or right away if it's needed to for a project to be successful, and then of course building that infrastructure. One thing we did last year was approve more than $7 million in stormwater and water improvements, sewer improvements in that area to ensure that area has the capacity that it needs to sustain modern day development over there. Keep in mind the mall was built in more than 30 years ago. Now as for private sector investment in the project, you know, when I laid out the process, the county's role is to really, you know, build the stage or the playing field for the private sector to come and be successful.
I see.
We don't have plans to try to solicit investments into the property. However, with that said, if people are interested in investing in that property, someone who has a background in development, office space, their opportunity to get involved will be in the RFI process.
Correct. Okay.
'Cause
So it's a request for information.
Correct.
RFI. Okay.
You know, once that goes out, they'll have an opportunity to submit and say, hey, Gwinnett County, this is your vision, but these are some ideas that we think you should consider. And then once we've moved past the RFI process, after we've taken that private sector feedback, then we'll be ready to do the RFP, which is a request for proposal. And the county will select a firm or firms, again, since there's a lot of land, or firms to develop the property according to the vision they submitted to us.
I see. So it's really good to know that. I didn't know that unless Gwinnett County is supporting those private sector do the proper business, if there is no infrastructure by the county, they cannot proceed.
Right.
That's a good point that I didn't think about. Yeah, there is always infrastructure involved.
Yeah.
That's going to be done by the county.
Definitely, especially if you have a project where there's over 2,000 units. We got to make sure that those folks can take showers and flush their toilets.
I see. It's a very basic things, but sometimes we forget about
Yes,
that
ma'am.
things like air, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, officially this project is Gwinnett County redevelopment project or?
So there's no name for it at this time. I mean, I think the official title of it now is Gwinnett Place Mall redevelopment.
But you can go to Gwinnett County placetobe.com.
Right. So there's a few websites. I'll definitely want to plug the website I shared with you, the GwinnettPlaceCID.com, and people can go there to view an early draft of the master plan that was prepared by VHB and worked with the Gwinnett Place CID.
What is a VHD?
VHB is the name of the firm that was selected for it.
Okay.
The Gwinnett Place CID stands for Community Improvement District. And let's say you and I were to come by at night around 9 o'clock. On today's a Thursday night, we'll see businesses open, but what we won't find is people. And I think that's the problem with the Gwinnett Place CID right now is you have a sea of commercial businesses, but for these commercial businesses to be successful long term, we have to bring people, i.e. housing, apartments, into this area.
자, 여러분 제가 지금 여러분들이 좀 궁금해 하실 만한 것만 한두 개만 좀 질문을 했어요. 근데 이제 여러분들께 제가 영상을 통해서 한국말로 된 버전을 여러분들에게 소개하면서 이 프로젝트가 어떻게 진행될 것인지 조금 더 다른 다음 편 영상으로 준비를 하든지 그렇게 해서 여러분들이 이 프로젝트를 이해하시는 데 도움이 되게끔 영상을 또 준비를 하겠습니다. Do you have any other comment to our Korean American folks in Gwinnett County?
Sure. I definitely wanted to mention something we talked about the other day, the VOE, the value offset exemption. I know in your line of work you deal with a lot of residential property owners, first-time home buyers. Here in Gwinnett County, in the county portion of your bill, we have a tool that's designed to protect residential taxpayers from wild changes in market conditions and inflation. It's called the VOE.
Not verification of employment. Okay. VOE는 Value Offset Exemption이라는 뜻입니다, 여러분. Value Offset Exemption. 여러분들 홈스테드 exemption 하신 분들은 이 Value Offset Exemption은 automatically 다 받으실 수가 있는데 지금 홈스테드 exemption을 많은 분들이 그동안에는 집값이 이렇게 많이 안 올랐을 때는 안 하셔도 상관이 없었을 거예요. 근데 VOE, Value Offset Exemption이 요새같이 집값이 30% 뛴 경우는 이거를 하고 안 하고가 굉장히 큽니다.
When the market values change over time, if you have the VOE, it will freeze the taxable amount.
Gwinnett County portion.
Correct, that we use to create your property tax bill. So, which is really important because in this time of wild inflation, record high inflation, homes are valued 30% more than they were just last year. That county portion of your bill is frozen in time.
If it is $1 million house.
$1 million home?
Yeah, $1 million home.
I would have to do the math. But I believe the formula is 40% of the value of the home and the land of the home, and that's the taxable amount that they use to calculate your property tax that you owe to the county. But I do know this. I do know if that person who has that $1 million home has had the VOE for the last 4 years, 4 or 3 years, that portion of their tax has not changed or went up so long as the ownership in that house has not changed.
And then you said that only there are 5 county does the VOE.
I believe 5 or 6 in Georgia. And I think I should mention too, the VOE only applies to residential property, that is your primary residence.
Right.
It does not apply to commercial property. 60% of all residential property in Gwinnett County has the VOE successfully applied.
Okay. VOE value offset exemption이라는 거 그거 한번 또 저한테 이제 나중에 따로 물어보셔도 되고요. 제가 자세하게 설명을 해드릴게요. 그래서 우리 귀넷카운티 커미셔너 컬클랜드 카든이 그거를 더 이렇게 잘 챙겨 드시라고 보통 이제 세금을 더 징수를 하려고 그러지 그 exemption 면제 받으라고 이렇게 홍보해 주시는 커미셔너는 없을 거예요. So, Mr. Carden, I was mentioning that most of county, they want to collect more tax instead of giving exemption. So I was just telling my people that you're one of a great, commissioner, saying that you guys save the money and then our county give you this kind of exemption. This is really great and kind of thing as a commissioner.
Thank you.
I don't know other people how they think. But
I look at it like this. We're just helping keep more money in your pocket. So I don't know if that's something to brag about, but I think you know how to spend your money better than county government. So.
Yeah, you deserve to brag about that. Yeah, I
Thanks.
bet. Thank you so much, Mr. Carden. It was really, really useful time today.
Excellent.
And I really appreciate your serving this county
Thank
as one of Gwinnett County resident.
Thank you. I enjoyed
Thank you so much. 자, 여러분 오늘 좀 시간을 통해서 여러분들에게 도움이 되셨으면 좋겠고요. 제가 또 다른 영상을 통해서 이 귀넷카운티 몰 그 프로젝트에 대한 좀 더 자세한 인포메이션을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 여러분들에게 항상 미국 생활을 하면서 조금이라도 더 알고 미국을 이해하고 우리가 살고 있는 카운티, 우리가 살고 있는 미국을 이해하면서 조금이라도 여러분들에게 미국 생활 지수를 올려드리려고 노력을 하는 여러분의 로컬 부동산, 조자 부동산 전문가 김수영이었습니다. 감사합니다. 안녕히 계세요.
Thank you.